Hello again. Today I'll be preaching about the two raptures that are in the Bible. That how we need to look at this dispensationally. Um, we have a first rapture that is a tribulation, resurrection, and rapture of the body of Christ saints at the end of the dispensation of grace. And then there is a post-tribulation, resurrection, rapture for tribulation saints at the end of the tribulation period before the flood of fire. Then in Daniel 11 there is a 75-day interval between the day of the Lord and the flood of fire. I'm even thinking it's going to take more time to do the post-trib resurrection rapture of trib saints who are going to get martyred by Islamic Muslim terrorists, and they're going to need a post-trib resurrection rapture to escape the flood of fire. Even animals are going to go in this post-trib rapture to escape the flood of fire, to get off the earth before the flood of fire. So and that doesn't mean all the animals are going to get wiped out with the flood of fire right at the end of the tribulation period. During the 75-day interval, it is a also a post tribulation, resurrection, and rapture for animals. So anyway, I want to preach about these two raptures. There's also the resurrection of the two witnesses, Moses, Elijah, in Revelation 11. They're on the streets of Jerusalem to get martyred, and then they're resurrected 3.5 days later, and then they're raptured themselves. So anyway, you have to look at this dispensationally. There's no need to be divided on pre-tribulation rapture or post-tribulation resurrection rapture like churches are, because there's actually they're both going to happen. Because uh, the ones for trib saints and the post-rapture is for trib saints in Matthew 24, and the pre-tribulation rapture is from 1 Thessalonians 4 um, for body of Christ saints at the end of the dispensation of grace. The day of redemption is different than the day of the Lord for the body of Christ saints at the end of the dispensation of grace. And the post rapture, which that is like a day of redemption for post trib saints, but as far as for lost sinners under the wrath of God, that is a day of the Lord, a day of wrath. Excuse me, I clear my throat. Hmm. So I just wanted to put on here, about the two raptures. That there's no, like I said, there's no need to be divided on these raptures when there's actually going to be more than one rapture happening. Uh, to escape Jacob's trouble or the foot of fire. So, the day of the Lord is in Revelation 19, where Christ comes back with his with his body of Christ saints and Old Testament saints, to help to stand up to the Islamic Antichrist Muhammad Abdullah and the false prophets on Jesus Christ and the Muslim armies. They're going to invade Israel in Psalm 83 war. The 10 Islamic nations surrounding Israel, 10 Islamic kingdoms, Islamic kingdoms are 10 toes in Daniel 2 of the statue of iron and clay and the feet. Uh, so, and I did a sermon about that the other day. So, but anyway, I want to make this sermon about the two raptures. Like I said, no need to be divided on it. It's they're both two raptures you can believe in. There are two raptures than one rapture, so just one rapture. So, um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to say. Revelation 4 is a preacher rapture by Christ. Revelation 20 is a post-trib resurrection of trib saints, but there's also post-trib rapture of trib saints in Matthew 24. So you can have in Matthew 25 a preacher rapture of the wise virgins going to the wet marriage supper of the Lamb during uh, the 7-year tribulation period, and the trib saints get raptured at the end of Jacob's trouble of the 7-year tribulation period. During 75 interval, I think there's going to be more time to have to do that. And then, there's trib saints who are going to come out of hell with a prison ministry. Apocalypse of Peter, or Jesus Christ doing prison ministry, he'll get as many trib saints out of hell as possible. and then resurrect them in the Revelation 20 uh, post trib resurrection, and also the Ethiopocalypse revelation of Peter chapter 4 resurrection that can be a part of the first resurrection, and the trib saint resurrection in Revelation 20. Also, like I said in another sermon, in chapter 4 of the Ethiopocalypse Peter and the prison ministry of Jesus Christ in hell, Jesus Christ preached the gospel. Chapter 4, uh, the pre-trib resurrection can be for by Christ saints to get out of hell and go in the first resurrection. They get out of hell with the prison ministry of Jesus Christ in the Ethiopocalypse Peter's chapters 3 and 4. So I thought I'd make this sermon about the two raptures. I hope it blessed you. Instead of be divided on raptures, there's no need to do that. So God bless you. Have a good day. I hope this helped you out.